Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be showing you guys my setup for my brand new music journal. I am using a Maisie Lane journal here. I love the Maisie Lane journals. I use one for my reading journal and I love the paper quality. The cover has the right base so I can put stickers on it, which I will eventually do with this journal. And they are longer, so I don't go through a journal as quickly, which is great because I journal a lot. So yeah, I am going to be doing a music journal. This will have spreads for my favorite artists, favorite albums as they come out, just anything I feel like doing a spread on. I listen to a lot of music, but I also want to listen to a lot more. This has kind of been a goal of mine for a few years now, to try and really consciously get into more music, different kinds of music, so I'm looking forward to doing a music journal. For this opening cover page, my theme for my music journal is vaporwave, which is kind of an aesthetic movement along with a musical slash media style. I'm not that into the vaporwave musical style, but I do love the aesthetics of it. It kind of is a cotton candy pastels meets this kind of checkerboarded dystopian future with palm trees and Roman statues. It's very collage-esque. So yeah, I had a lot of fun making these vaporwave themes. For this cover page, I did just the word music repeated a lot of times in a kind of a Helvetica font, which is pretty vaporwave. And I used a collage that one of my pen pals sent me, and just some ephemera that looked pretty vaporwave. These next few pages after the cover are the index. I'm following a pretty similar template to how I designed my reading journal. I'll leave that linked in the cards if you want to go check that out. I modified some of the pages to fit better for music, but in general, I really love the way that I have my reading journal set up, so I wanted to do something very similar, but I did add a few pages, so you might find something that you like here that you might even want to incorporate in something like a reading journal. So this is my listening goals page. Similar to my reading goals page in my reading journal. I don't have a ton of specific goals on here. However, I did want to get some of them down in one spot. I used black paper and then a printout of a Roman statue. I did some printouts of different vaporwave type images. A lot of them did not come out super well since it's such a colorful palette. You really need the colors to come out right, but I did my best to work with what I have. I have a black and white printer, so it is what it is. And then for the opposite page, I took a favorite print of mine, which is by an artist named Kelsey Smith. I'll leave her linked in the description. And this is a picture of a girl kind of looking out. She's on a train, and it's kind of like a lo-fi kind of picture where she's got a cat, and there's these elements that wouldn't normally be on a train, like the cat and all the plants, and it kind of looks like a little home. So I tried to recreate that with myself and my cat and kind of like my objects. Like I have my water bottle, I have my music journal, looking out at the train, and it's just a very kind of a soothing picture. And yeah, the sweatshirt I'm wearing there is actually a Christine and the Queen sweatshirt, which is a band I love, and this sweatshirt is really expensive, so I was hoping by drawing myself in it I would want the sweatshirt less. That hasn't happened yet. Maybe eventually I will make the sweatshirt, I don't know. So this spread was based off of another Pinterest image. The original is based on kind of the 80s, 90s computery art graphic style. I think the original had a saying on it that said something like 404, the decade you're trying to visit does not exist anymore. And that whole surrealism meets kind of a computery imagined future is kind of part of the vaporwave aesthetic. So I wanted to do a spread based on that image. This is going to be a spread for new favorites that I discover in the upcoming year. I didn't really want to tie it to one calendar year in particular, since I am starting this in the middle of a year and I really don't know how long this music journal is going to go on. I don't know how long it'll be before I fill it up and how long before I switch to another journal. With more traditional bullet journals, I kind of have an idea of how long it takes me to go through them, but I'm really not sure what rate I'm going to move through this. So I didn't really want to tie it to a calendar year. So this is just favorites, new favorites that I'm going to discover. Every time I discover a new favorite song, I'll come back and write it in one of the boxes here. And yeah, I love the kind of computery boxes. It looks like they're all sort of facing the center with this interesting kind of setting sun looking graphic. Yeah, I will leave the graphic it was inspired by in the description as well, in case you guys are interested in seeing it. So this spread is for prompts. On the left-hand side, I have a musical genre generator that I used to give me all these interesting pseudo genres that I can use as jumping off points to go seek out more music, different musical styles, so I'm not kind of staying in a rut and listening to the same old stuff again and again. And then on the right-hand side is genres of music from around the world. I've been meaning to get more into stuff like K-pop, and there's just so many different places and different musical traditions, and I want to learn more and be exposed to more. So this is just kind of a good jumping off point to give me specific ins to other cultures. And I used a couple of Wikipedia articles on music from different cultures to get these names. I can leave that list in the description as well, so you guys can check that out if you're interested. This page is super simple, TBL, to be listened, kind of like a TBR if you're familiar with a reading journal. This is just a catch-all page when I want to write down someone or something that I want to listen to, and I just haven't gotten around to it yet. So this spread is for another sort of a prompts page that is Vaporwave Bingo. So I did a bingo spread and used kind of key concepts of Vaporwave. So you've got things like palm trees, pink skies, abandoned malls, kind of peaceful dystopian settings, and those are all also good jumping off points to go find some random new music. Because the whole point is to listen to more new music and not stay stuck in the same old excellent rut of the music that I already know I love. And then on the other side, I have a stats page. So that's just for tracking how often I am doing something from this journal. So for example, how often I'm listening to a prompt, how often I'm finding a new artist, listening to non-English speaking music, stuff like that. And yeah, I'm hoping this spread is really helpful for me. So this spread is for tracking my progress in listening to an album from every year since 1900. I've been meaning to get way more into music history and kind of all of music history, not just in 1900, but I figured 1900 would be kind of a good place to start, where I try and listen to a complete album from each year. I'm actually not sure if they did quote-unquote albums all the way back to 1900, but we'll see. I'm looking forward to kind of documenting it here. So once I listen to a work/album, I will go ahead and write that next to the year it was released. And yeah, I think this is going to be an interesting experiment. I know the styles of music and the eras that I am most fond of right now, but I'm sure there's tons and tons of stuff out there I've just never heard, just have no experience with. So I'm looking forward to learning more and kind of being exposed to more musical trends and musical history in general. This spread is for a listening log, so I'll just check off when I listen to music on the one, and I have 365 days starting with May. We'll see how long I use it. And then a weekly check-in, so I'll just drop maybe a couple of artists who I'm listening to that week. So this section is for a musical autobiography, is what I'm calling it. It is very similar to the complete reading log tracker that I use in my reading journal, and that has actually been super successful for me as a reading tracker. I write down the book, the author, the page count, the genre, all that good stuff, and it's been super helpful for me in the reading journal, so I wanted to keep something similar going for my music journal. I don't know how effective it is going to be here, since just the nature of music is that you listen to a lot more music than you are able to read books. So I don't think, I know for a fact I'm not going to be able to go line by line and write down every single song I listen to. That's like way too much. But I wanted to have this page and a couple of following pages here for just generally tracking trends in music. This is one of those spreads that I might have to tweak moving forward. I've never done a music journal before, and when I was doing research, there really aren't a ton that are kind of along the lines of what I'm trying to do here. I saw a lot of music journals that were kind of like tracking your own practice time or for songwriting, which I do play an instrument, 2 instruments technically, and I do write music, but that's not the main goal of this journal. So we'll see. This is one of those spreads that definitely is probably going to change a little bit as I keep using this journal, but I wanted to have it in here just in case I needed it. And the same thing goes for the following one, which I actually do think I will use a lot. That is the album covers spread. I love doing the cover art of the books that I am reading. I think it's turning out to be such a cute little visual history of my reading. So I think I'm going to try and do this at least for maybe like the top 5 songs or albums of each month. And I'm tracking those later. You will see I have kind of monthly tracking set up as well. So we have finally come to the end of the journal vaporwave themed pages. So I wanted to do a quick April spread since I had 2 major artists slash musical moments of April that I knew I wanted to record. So I did a little April cover page with is sort of a botanical theme, since that was kind of my main theme for April across my journals. And I did a playlist of the month for April, and then I did a closing page for April where I listed off some of my favorite discoveries, what I was listening to the most, top releases, and I left myself 2 blank spreads for April in between. Those are going to be 2 separate videos. So I do a spread for Fearless, Taylor's version, and then I also did a spread for Californian Soil by London Grammar. So those were my 2 main musical moments of April that I knew I wanted documented in here. So here is the final flip through. I would love to hear your guys' thoughts on the journal in general. If any of you guys keep music journals, if you have any tips, any spreads that you would suggest. I am very open to feedback, since there really, like I said, there are not a lot of journals in this style out there. So I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts. If you have any questions, feel free to let me know. And as always, if you guys do any themes based on this video or any of the spreads in here, I would love to see them. Feel free to tag me. My Instagram is at kellyannemakesart, and I have that linked in the description as well. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you next time.